Hello, welcome to Cutting Edge. I'm your host, Abby Adeboye. And today I have with me an enterprising young lady, Mea Boykins. Welcome to Cutting Edge.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Mea Boykins, as she said, and I am a graduate of Spelman College. I graduated in May of 2011 as a psychology major, and I am from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Whoa, psychology major. But you have been doing quite a bit both within academia and the community, haven't you?
Yes.
Tell us some of your work within the academic community.
While at Spelman College during my sophomore year, I started the Student Emergency Assistance Scholarship Fund, which is a fund for juniors and seniors who've exhausted all of their financial resources and have an impending balance, placing them at risk for expulsion.
Definitely.
So, in order to establish a scholarship fund, you have to first raise $5,000. So I conducted a letter writing campaign in which I was able to raise the funds from soliciting family, friends, networks, and business connections.
So you raised funds for others even while you were still in the system, weren't you?
Yes.
Did you need those funds?
It's funny. A lot of people ask me that question. They say, oh, did you need help? Well, I was really blessed. My father was able to help me out with my tuition, as well as I received several scholarships from Spelman and outside entities.
Okay.
And also I got loaned. So there were times when I was fundraising for my organization and I had a hold on my own account.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, I just need like $1,000, and they're like, well, you can't use this, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, I'll figure it out. So yeah, at some point I did need some of the funds, but it all worked out. God is able. So
you graduated when?
I graduated in May of 2011.
And since then, what have you been up to?
Since graduation, I have taken my scholarship fund to another level and another platform. I definitely stand for investing in others and uplifting the community. So since graduation, I've had about 3 events for the community. I had 2 Feed the Homeless events, one for women and children and one for men. And I also recently had an event for the youth for mentoring. And the Feed the Homeless events entailed performances, prayer, food, clothing, blankets, and shoe donations, as well as different testimonies given from people who've come, from different places. Like during my Feed the Homeless event, I actually had a speaker named Gil Thomas who's HIV positive, and he was homeless himself for several years in Atlanta. So I reached out to him, and he actually spoke at the event for the men. And it was very uplifting, very inspiring, because now he's the CEO of his own company.
Wow.
And he's actually one of my donors and sponsors for my organization. So he sponsors 1 scholarship per year. So it was just amazing, and the one I had for the youth was just last weekend. It was at Spelman College. It entailed 4 speakers. It ended up being like an empowerment session.
Yes.
The speakers were phenomenal. I spoke, and I had the vice president of SunTrust, Roberta White, Charmin Moore. She's a life coach and a researcher, and a good friend of mine, Tiffany Flowers. She spoke. They all had very empowering testimonies. They just described, how they were bullied and mistreated, and the thoughts that they had growing up, and how it was very hard, and getting pregnant at young ages, and all the things that one would think would stop someone and hinder them from their growth and development.
Definitely.
So they all told their stories, where they came from, and how they've overcome all these obstacles through different help, and just reaching out, and staying focused and working hard and trusting in God. So it was very inspirational for the youth there. The young ladies were very inspired. I actually picked up some of the girls from Kroger, a local Kroger, because I saw them and I saw their family, and I was like, hey, I'm having an event. It would benefit your child. Yeah, so they came, and it was great.
juggle this? That's a lot. How do you juggle everything? How do
It
you make an event happen, for starters?
Well, it's very easy actually.
Okay.
I think it's
Really?
yes, I think it's really easy. Well, see, once I had my first event, which was April 17th, 2011, to fundraise my organization, Student Emergency Assistance, I built connections,
Okay.
and it grew so much. I'm connected with powerful women, mentors, and business owners, and I speak at events monthly. I also speak at the Caribbean American Business Connections.
Oh.
Yeah, with my mentor Sabrina Sumer Kelly, who's a spearhead in Atlanta and the international community now.
Yes.
So I speak at her event. I've got a lot of resources. So people reach out to me. They give me donations. They offer to speak and do etiquette training. So the only thing that I really have to do is find a venue. And once, I've built so much credibility in Atlanta from hosting events and from having all these powerful connections that it's really simple for me to just get a venue.
Put it together.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so you get the venue donated, or you have to pay for your venue? I mean, what's your overhead like?
It depends. The one at Spelman College, I actually got someone to sponsor me for the space, so I did not have to pay for it. And sometimes people, they sponsor the venue. Other times I have to pay, but I've actually only paid once.
Nice. That's very, very enlightening. You simply coordinate all of the different elements to bring together the event.
Yes.
How do you choose which group to reach out to, though?
What do you mean, which group?
Because there's so much need today out there. How do you decide, oh, it's women and children, or it's men? How do you choose which group to reach out to?
That's a good question. Actually, I reach out to everyone.
Okay.
I have no limitations on who I reach out to. I realize that people need help from a variety of places. I actually, since my scholarship fund, I've actually started the paperwork to have Student Emergency Assistance incorporated. So it's incorporated now.
Okay.
And I'm doing the paperwork for a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. So with my nonprofit, I'm going to take it all over the world. I'm actually moving to London in September for a master's program in child, adolescent, and family mental health. And I'm moving to New York for the summer to intern there and to just expand my networks and my connections and, fundraise and meet more people and build connections. So I plan on taking it everywhere around the world. I want to do things like implement education and have etiquette training and testimonies all over the world for every population that's in need.
Wow, Atlanta is definitely going to miss you while you're down in London. But that definitely adds that international flavor. And when we talk about problems within challenges within communities, you think there are universal elements to it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are universal elements. I've actually lived abroad in Paris before, in Paris, France, and I speak French as a second language. So while there, I was able to really, learn another culture and be around other people. And as a psychology major, I feel that it's very important to get to know an individual as well as the individual's culture, because without knowing how they were conditioned, how they grew up, you won't fully understand the individual, therefore you won't be able to reach out to them.
That is so true. That
Yes.
is so true.
And with that being said, that's why I plan on moving to all these international places, because I want to build a connection with each individual, and I want to know how to help that specific person, because everyone can't be reached in the same manner, because everyone has their own ideals and mindsets about life.
And just as Mother Teresa said, reach the person in front of you. When you first help the one in front of you, then you can see the rest.
Yes.
Instead of, I'm going to save the world.
Yeah.
So you do have the right approach in that regard. So what do you think is the most critical of the problems out there? I know you're juggling quite a bit, but you kept going back to education and etiquette.
Okay. The most critical, I would say, it's several components, you know.
Okay.
I think education is definitely one, and which is why I started my organization as a scholarship fund, because I come from a family where many people didn't graduate college, even high school, you
Yes.
know. So when I was able to go to Spelman, and I realized, like, wow, you know, there are some African American young women who are in college, and they're being put out because they don't have the funds. And I'm like, you know, I come from an environment where people, some people with opportunity, choose not to go to college. And so I thought it was very important to invest in individuals who actually wanted to educate themselves, because knowledge is power. And what you don't know can kill you, and what you do know can kill you. And so individuals just need to know, you know. So that's definitely the most important thing. With knowledge comes the you realize that you can do,
Yes,
you know,
you can. Yes.
and you're not inferior, you know. When you start to activate that in your brain, you know, you know that you can reach different levels, you can travel internationally, you can reach people. But that all comes with education. If you aren't aware of what's around you, if you're stuck in one location around a certain mindset, and you don't reach out to other mindsets, whether it be good mindsets or bad, you just need to learn the world in general. And what better way to learn it through education and through traveling to get the direct experience? Because also living in America, you know, media is very limited.
Yes, it is.
And they, you know, people won't get to the root of the problem. And people lie. They say, oh, well, in France they hate Americans, and in this country they're like this. And I lived in Paris for 6 months. I had no problem at all. And I just feel like people, you know, they have these different fears of other individuals and other cultures, and that's where the entire problem comes from, a fear of an individual, you know. And with that education comes that growth and that freedom of expression and of just learning.
Well, what you said is so key, that except you know and then you travel, because all of your information kind of come from the media.
Right.
Either should all of your education just come from your traditional school.
Yes.
You should want to know beyond what is being taught to you, because that kind of also confines your world.
Yes.
And by traveling, you get to meet other people, other cultures. You get to interact. You form your own opinions to build you up. There are many people that are very afraid of flying, or even getting out of the United States, even out of Atlanta. I remember meeting a guy once, and he said he hasn't passed I-20. so the first time you went, how old were you?
The first time I traveled abroad, I was 16. I went to Europe. I went to London and Paris. Then after I saw another world, I was like, I get back. I've got to go back.
Yes.
So I was inspired. I did the study abroad program my first semester of junior year.
Okay.
It was right around the time when I actually started the letter writing campaign to fundraise. So I went to Paris, and I came back, and then after I came back, I was like, I gotta get out of the country again. I gotta get out of the country. So that's why I applied to graduate school in London, and then after London, I actually plan on living in Senegal for a few months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I want to implement some change there as well. Yes, and also Israel, you know, the Holy Land. I want to be in that space. So I plan on doing a lot of traveling.
How do you see your degree as being a platform for you?
Well, as a psychology major and just learning about the individual, which my master's is going to be in child, adolescent, and family mental health, as I said.
Yes.
And I'm going to get a doctorate in clinical psychology and theology. So with that, I want to go to reach out on a spiritual basis, as well as just understanding one's mind, you know, from the youth to all the different stages of life. So it'll help me in my endeavors of assisting others, because like you said, you have to reach the person in front of you. You have to connect with them. And so I want to be able to understand an individual on a holistic manner. And so that's why I'm continuing my education so that I can, just really reach out and change people and just implement all of these different strategies in my organization as a whole.
Talking about the mind, that's one area of challenge for many people.
Mm-hmm.
It's an area of challenge where they are afraid of what they will find, and so they shy away from talking about issues of the mind or problems that, look at the stigma, for instance, with mental health.
Mm-hmm.
They're afraid of talking about it.
Yeah.
And that's one of those areas that you'll find over and over as you walk in this journey. So far, when we talk about homelessness, you see a correlation with issues of the mind.
Yes, definitely. Sometimes in life we struggle, and through our struggles, it creates different issues. Everyone doesn't handle opposition in a strong-minded way.
No.
Yeah, Dr. King, he actually wrote one of my favorite sermons, A Tough Mind and a Tender Heart. And in this sermon, he just discusses the importance of, what the Word of God says. It says, "Be ye wise as a serpent, but gentle as a dove." Yes. So, sometimes in life, there was this really great analogy that I would like to share. I actually had a revelation. This guy, he was telling a story of a woman and her daughter, and the daughter was going through trials.
Yes.
And so her mother put on a pot of coffee, an egg, and a carrot, and she boiled it for 20 minutes. After the 20 minutes was over, she said, she gave it to her daughter. She's like, "What do you have here?" And her daughter's like, "Okay, what do you mean? Well, what's the point of all this?" Yeah. And she's like, "Some people go through opposition and they become, they start out hard, like the carrot did, and it ended up being soft. The carrot started out hard and it ended up being soft, and then the egg it started up soft, but then it ended up hard. Yes. But the coffee actually transpired within the water. Everything went through the same circumstance. It went through boiling water. It went through that difficult circumstance. But the coffee was able to transcend and develop more character and build, and actually awaken the individual. However, the one person who went through that same struggle, they became weak. Then the other person became hard-hearted, And so you have to find that fine balance. And I've seen that a lot through dealing with the community, different issues of homelessness that it brings. Yes. I've actually had several conversations with people from off the street, and even I was at a restaurant once, and this homeless guy, he was drunk and he smelled terrible, but he sat down at the table with me, and I shared my food with him, and he broke down in tears.
Oh, wow.
And he told me, he said, "You made me feel like a human being." He's like, I live on the street. My mom died. I didn't get to say goodbye to her. People laugh at me. They make fun of me. They beat me up. And I'm thinking, wow, this man's already homeless and people are further abusing him. And I just felt like, wow, for someone to tell me that I made them feel like a human, that's the lowest possible level of degradation that one could possibly endure, for you to not feel like a person anymore. And it's just very important to me, to connect mental health, because I know that it affects people psychologically when they go through things differently and they have different ways of dealing with it.
Preach on, sister. I love that. Tell us how people can access your services or how they can get your scholarship for those that need it. Is it just for Spelman students? Just tell us how they can connect with you.
Okay. So my scholarship fund is actually for Spelman College, and the criteria for it is to be a junior or senior with a 3.0 and active in community service. It's not something that you can apply for. It's an award. So when financial aid, they see, this person is in need and they fit the criteria, they actually award it. So that keeps me from having to select a recipient and being biased,
Very.
So that's for Spelman, but Student Emergency Assistance, like I said, it branched out. It's now an incorporation, and it's going to be a nonprofit soon. So I'm going to be able to reach out to everyone in a variety of ways, philanthropy, giving back, events, etc. I can be reached personally through my website, which is www.csea, the acronyms for Student Emergency Assistance, love, LOVE.org. And my email address is M for Mea Boykins, BOYKINS, 2011 at gmail.com. And through my website,
Yes.
individuals can donate, they can see pictures from events, they can see videos, find out what my organization is about, etc. So, and you could also go and like my Facebook organization page through my website as well.
Awesome. So Mea, what do you think of the Women Only TV station, AWTN?
Well, I really appreciate it. For one, I appreciate being here. And I think that it's definitely necessary. I've tuned into some of the shows, and it talks about very vital issues of women from international communities, and it's aligned with my mission to help empower and uplift individuals, because the women, or they have a platform to speak and express themselves
Definitely.
and tell their story so that it can reach other audiences and helps inspire them so that they can change their lives. So I think that it's very necessary in this world that we live in.
Awesome. Again, our guest today has been Mea Boykins, and we are so happy that she has shared her heart with us, reaching out to others, connecting our communities, rebuilding. A lot of work ahead of her. Thank you so very much for being our guest
Thank
again.
you for having me.
And thank you for joining us.